our new product, iPromo. So this is promotion approval system for business to business enterprise application. So there are currently a lot of products are there in market, but most of them not in cloud. Most of them are not scalable and not load balanced properly. So there are different problems are there. So here we integrated everything in one solution. So let me walk through all the aspects of this. So this is a role-based system. Sales can submit the promotion for approval and company pricing team can approve it. Once it approved, sales can get the green signal and they can run the promotion in their region. So that's how it is, and approval can be done through email or through our web app. And workflow is itself a component which many companies provide, but in this scenario we developed this workflow in AWS state machine framework basically. So, and this application has two main components. One is to-do list, where you can see all the promotions listed on the same page which requires your attention, and another page is for reporting. And we are also providing support through chatbot, which is using Lex behind the scene, and for deployment we use CI/CD pipeline. So going over technology, so basically this application is using single sign-on through AWS Azure Active Directory, and other main component I will go over in CI/CD. We are using Docker, and cloud formation is used in CI/CD, and workflow is done using state machine, which is extensively using the serverless technology using Lambda, and API gateway is providing channel for approving code and passing parameter through Lambda to a state machine. And RDS MySQL is used with multi-AZ deployment across region for database store and other card operation. And we use the parameter store for storing our secret keys and connection string for the SQL, and we are using KMS key for encryption. And all the components are using IAM roles. And for S3 we are using for storing the file which sales can upload to the application, and Route 53 is used for deployment and domain registration purpose. And as I told, Lex is used for chatbot. So let's go over our architecture diagram. So this is architecture of web application. So basically I will mainly focus on cloud components of it. So this component is from Azure Active Directory for single sign-on, which you see here, and rest of the component is from AWS. So first, when request comes to Route 53, it redirects to the load balancer, and load balancer route to the proper EC2 instance, and that is EC2 instance route to the API gateway and for the step function and then Lambda. So that flow is there. So first I would prefer going over the web application so that you can relate the things, how things are working. Then we will come back again and we'll go over how Lambda function and step functions are used to develop workflow system. So this is our custom development for our workflow. So let's go to our demo. So once you log in, so this is single sign-on. So previously I logged in, so it directly came, it remembers my credentials, and I get into this main page which is showing all the action item which requires my attention. So I will go from the start. Let's submit a standard promotion to request approval. Test promo, and for which sold to I want to do, I need to mention here. So do this one sample here. This is the customer actually. So I just supported the dummy data here. In actual scenario, we can put the relevant data. And this promotion I want to run for a week. So let's do in Christmas time frame 130. So this is my proposal. I want to run for a week, and for what are the products I want to consider for discount that I will do. I can browse through how many products are there. It will list it down for you. And quantity, I'm targeting and expecting to sell around 100 quantities out there. And this is the list price of the product, which is coming from our master database. Here I want to give this much discount. This POS is the discount, so I want to offer this much discount. So total quantity multiplied by this discount is the total estimated discount which I want to offer. So all on demand calculation and everything is done here. So this we did in jQuery, and so let's submit this. And once you submit, so it's doing validation. Here we need to do the end customer also. So you can see how it does all the validation, and UI is very intuitive. It tells everything what you need to do. So let's submit. So it went through. Let's go to next level as a PM pricing manager, where I can see what quote I submitted. That should come here. Before going to this point, I want to show you what happens in workflow. So let's see this. This is a state machine you see here. I created all these workflows which are listed here. Here I am using this one. Let's refresh it again. It takes a minute to come here. So here we can see these three instances are running. So one of them is we recently submitted. Let's see that here. If you go inside, you can see the detail of these instances. You can see for this testing how many instances I created and troubleshooted, all this stuff. So a lot of efforts is there. So here, this is our current workflow, and you can match this number. This is a promotion number which we recently submitted. So 83016. That's what it is. So it's waiting for approval. See, the PM approval activity is running, and it keep tracking. Once it's approved, it will come to the next step. So it's quite interesting to see. And let's see from approval point of view. So you can see pricing manager got an email for approval. So on the go, they can see the mail, this price we need to approve. Okay, so if they want to reject, they can click the reject, and if they want to approve it, and they can approve. You can see, and the URL which is coming here is token is there, encrypted token. See, this AA. This is pretty secure thing. So let's submit it. So you can see it's approved. Let's see in workflow what happened here. See, it got approved and it updated in database too. Let's see the same thing. So here submitted by RSM. This status was there. Once it came to PM, you can see this is approved by PM, and it went to the win loss to RSM. And there is another tab is the report, where you can see all the status of all the promotions which are submitted throughout. So for testing, we create a lot of them. So let's go to sales. Since this code is already approved, as a salesperson, I can go and see the thing. I can see this is already approved. If I have any question or want to discuss anything, for that purpose, we provided need help. So this chatbot is implemented here, which we will go later in this demo. So once I'm done, I can submit and close this activity altogether. Right, so it's done, it's closed. And now to see this, you can go here in the report, and once it's closed, it will not be there in the workplace. That's our thing. So that was our implementation of workflow in state machine. So it shows all this detail when it was approved and historically how many promotions are approved and full detail of that and what time it approved. And there is a timeout is also implemented for this workflow. It waits for certain time. If approval is not received in that time, it times out. It's not like it will keep waiting for a month. So you can see the detail, promotion detail here. So these values are coming and passing across lambdas and API gateway. And we are tracking all the health here in CloudWatch, and everything is configured here. You can see our logs for all the lambdas and state machine we can track here. So this is walkthrough of our CloudSci promotion approval system. Now I want to go over our CI/CD pipeline, how it looks and how it automatically deploys this stuff. So let's go over. So I implemented this pipeline in using Cloud Star. So you can see the Cloud Star dashboard is here. And Cloud Dashboard will show you all the pipeline steps here. So you can see everything is successful right now. And this is the URL where it is deployed. And let's see. So this test page I created for testing CI/CD. So you can see it displaying hundreds, menus, and 4 exclamation marks are there. Let's go in Gate and change it to add it to 1 exclamation mark. Just check it. So in this CI/CD pipeline, I will go over. I use the Docker there for building. So I'm committing change. So it's committed here. Now this will flow to our pipeline. So it takes usually 1 minute to reach. Let's wait. It's worth waiting. So it is started, you can see. So it is receiving code now. Once code is fully received, it will go to build. So in meantime, it's doing all the steps. Let me go over how all the steps are configured. That will give you a good picture. So let me open. So once code is received, there is a first event is building. So for building, I use the Docker. That's what I want to show is in North Virginia. Let's select the proper region. The other build you saw that I implemented without Docker, that is also working. Let's go to edit project so that I can show you the different aspects of this. So before going to here, I want to show the basic files which are used for CI/CD. So there are, oh, please came in here. Let's go back. So here these are the two main files, YAML files basically, which are doing all the building thing. So first one is the build spec YAML. The code you can see, so it's just doing echo, and then it's restoring this project, and then doing the publish of it, and then it is calling the another YAML. So let's see what is that YAML. So actually with that YAML is configuring and installing on the web server and those things. Here you can see Linux server. So this is a Microsoft ASP.NET Core, and it's deployed on Linux and Docker. So it's amazing. You can see server, all the steps are there. It is installing everything. So there are some other scripts are also written here that you can see for starting and stopping services and restarting server. So all this stuff is there. So, going back to this, so here you can see we configure the Docker. This is the Docker image. And this is the build configuration. And going back to our, so it's still building. So once it's built, yeah, it's completed building. Now it's deploying. So till it deploys, let's go to our pipeline architecture. This is here. So once developers check in the code, it goes to Git repository, and there is a code pipeline which we just saw. So there cloud formation is there, which do the implementation part and initiating the C2 instance and setting up all this infrastructure stuff is there, and then it's building the unit test cases, and it runs the test case basically. And there is a manual approval, we can set it up, which requires the manual approval. Once manual approval is done from the testing team, it deploys that Docker. So that's our pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. Let's see whether it's completed by now. So you can see it's completed. So this time and this time exactly same. So it's completed. Let's see how it shows. See it turned. So it automatically deployed. Awesome. So we covered the CI/CD and our workflow, everything. Let's now relate the thing with our architecture diagrams. So this is our web application high-level architecture. So client, and there is a URL rerouting is there. This is following MVC pattern, so that's displayed here. Model view controller, and this is following the microservice architecture. So that's what we have, REST APIs using API gateway, and the database is used through entity framework is MySQL, and S3 is used for storing images, and Amazon API gateway, as I told, for microservices we did, and for approval. So let's go to our cloud architecture. So this portion is Azure ready for single sign-on, and this is AWS portion. So you can see this portion, API gateway, step function, and Lambda. This all construct the workflow, which we will talk about in detail later. So in CloudWatch, we also configured the mail notification, and all the logs are there. And CloudFront to expose the image to AutoWorld, and we did the read replica, the slab, master slab concept in MySQL. So let's go to quickly in workflow. So this is the main activity worker Lambda, which is scheduled using the CloudWatch, which runs it every minute. So this Lambda, what it does, it goes to SQL and see is there any new promotion is there which requires approval. If yes, it creates a new instance in step function, which you just saw. it turns green there, right? So once it creates an instance there, it automatically triggers mail approval mail. It construct all the stuff that and construct the URL and format of the email. So everything it prepares, and through SES it sends that mail to the approver from the database who are the approver. Once approver receives a mail, they can click there in the mail and approve. So approval is received by API gateway, which validates the token, whether it came from the desired source or not. And if yes, it approves in step function, and then the parameter is passed in this channel, and then parameter goes to the Lambda for post activity. So in post activity, it updates the status in the MySQL, and once code is complete, it displays there in the UI. So this is a email approval you saw. So same way, this block can be replaced using the web API and the web portal. That's what we can also do. That is also implemented in our project. So, and we did our custom VPC implementation also. So we created our own EC2 instances and subnets. So this is VPC, and these are 2 subnets are in public, and 4 we created in private zone. And this is a net gateway to give internet access. So for public, we gave access to internet gateway, and for net, for the private subnets. So you can easily see how we placed our EC2 in these subnets, and MySQL is there in this public subnet, so that we can access MySQL from our local system also. Our EC2 is also there, but Lambda we put in the private subnet, because that should not be exposed to outer world, and even if you put in public, it doesn't work. And for storage, so this is S3, and here we did the lifecycle policy implementation also. It flows to IA, S3 IA, and then Glacier. So everything is there, and the CloudFront. So I will not go over in deep here, because we already covered several times this thing. And the chatbot, we will go over that. So let me